red-eyed crocodile skinks are a unique and fascinating species of lizard, and they make a perfect addition to any aspiring herpetologist reptile collection. But do you know how to correctly house and maintain this species? My name is Hudson, and in this video I'm going to show you how to properly care for a red-eyed crocodile skink. I decided to create this video because when I first became interested in this skink, I found there was very little information written about this reptile. A majority of the information I received on the husbandry of these critters came from the lady I bought my skink from, who was a breeder of them. Being an experienced lizard keeper, I had no problems with the care of these fascinating reptiles. However, a beginner lizard keeper may not have the ability to utilize their prior experience and knowledge, or be able to access the advice of an experienced reptile enthusiast, such as I did. The goal of this video is to provide a comprehensive guide about the care of these fascinating lizards, and to assist enthusiastic croc skink keepers who may not have access to other reputable resources. So let's get started and check out the amazing crocodile skink. Red-eyed crocodile skinks are native to New Guinea. They attain a maximum length of 8 to 10 inches. In appearance, they look like a hybrid of a saltwater crocodile and the creature, Toothless, from the movie How to Train Your Dragon. They are a shy species and will spend most of their time hiding in caves and burrows. These lizards generally do not take well to handling, and my fellow is no exception. When handled, these lizards will get extremely stressed and will often play dead. If they get overly stressed, they may even drop their tail. This defense mechanism enables wild skinks to escape hungry predators. However, this adaptation is not something we want our captive croc skinks to do. Once a tail is dropped, it will not grow back. These are definitely a look, don't touch type of lizard. If you are interested in a more hands-on type of lizard, you should consider a leopard gecko, a bearded dragon, or my personal favorite lizard, the exotic and mysterious Indonesian frilled dragon. That's awesome. These lizards are very tolerant to handling. In fact, one time my beardie got stroked on the back by an entire 2nd and 3rd grade class of 30 students, and he didn't even flinch. Okay, now back to the amazing croc skink. Red-eyed crocodile skinks are considered to be of intermediate difficulty in their care level. Although they are not particularly complicated, these lizards are not for the first-time keeper. When searching to purchase one of these lizards, you should try to find one that is captive bred rather than wild-caught. Why is that important, you ask? Captive-bred croc skinks are generally hardier and healthier than wild-caught specimens. Captive-bred skinks will also cope better with being handled, and will likely spend less time hiding than their wild counterparts. However, these lizards are rare in the pet trade, and captive-bred individuals are even rarer. I have a wild-caught skink, as there were no captive-bred red-eyed croc skinks available. Wild-caught skinks are fine, but if given the option, go for a captive-bred animal, as they are generally easier to care for. The key to a perfect skink home is a properly set up vivarium, without cutting any corners. I would recommend an Exoterra 36-inch by 18-inch by 18-inch terrarium. You could also go with a cheaper traditional aquarium with a lid on it. I have my bearded dragon and leopard gecko in this tank style. But trust me, experience has dictated to me that it is much wiser to spend the extra money and purchase a terrarium with a front opening door. This feature is very convenient during routine care and maintenance of your crocodile skink. Setting up a successful croc skink habitat is different than many other lizards, like the leopard gecko or beardie. A good reference point for these lizards would be to set up their enclosure like you would a dart frog, by creating a living vivarium. To create an ideal living vivarium, start with a base layer of Josh's Frog's false bottom. Covering the bottom of the terrarium with these irregularly shaped objects is vital as a drainage layer. keeping the main substrate from becoming waterlogged and moldy. To separate the false bottom from the substrate, install a Josh's Frog substrate barrier. As for substrate, use the Josh's Frog's ABG mix. This substrate mix was perfected by the Atlanta Botanical Gardens and is designed to be realistic and support microfauna. Add some leaf litter and live plants to the top of the substrate to complete the micro-rainforest. Be sure to only use reptile-safe plants in the terrarium. There are several excellent lists of these plants available online. Since plants have a limited lifespan, be sure to replace your vivarium's plants every few years. As you can see within my enclosure, some of my plants have started to die. I will be replacing them as soon as I complete all my school courses for this year. Add a minimum of 3 caves to provide your skink a multitude of hiding spots, making him feel safe. Be sure to include some microfauna, such as springtails and isopods, onto the substrate. These tiny insects will feed on decaying plant material, mold, and lizard feces, keeping the vivarium healthy and clean. Crocodile skinks are semi-aquatic, and if they don't have a pool of water to swim in, they will die. You can make a pool of water in one of 2 ways. Either have a large water bowl or Tupperware container filled with water, or build a water feature within the enclosure. I would recommend constructing a water feature because it looks natural and when set up properly requires less maintenance and provides a natural source of humidity for the plants and skink. If you choose the Tupperware option, then you will have to change the water supply every day. However, if you set up a water feature with a pump, it will keep the water supply much cleaner and provide an additional advantage of being aesthetically pleasing. The water pump keeps the water aerated and helps to maintain high humidity. The false bottom houses beneficial bacteria that will act like a natural filter and eat away waste. Because of these factors, I have found I only have to completely change the water supply every week. However, due to evaporation, I have to top up the water level in the tank every few days. As mentioned earlier, these lizards require high humidity in their habitats. With a properly set up enclosure, this is not a problem. Having a water pump will help boost the humidity. However, it is extremely important to mist the vivarium with a spray bottle. Another trick that will raise the humidity of an enclosure is to cover its screen top with a glass or aluminum pieces. This will prevent some humidity from escaping out of the vivarium. Croc skinks need an ambient temperature of 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Unlike other lizards, skinks do not require a basking lamp. A reptile heat pad combined with the aluminum top screen cover should keep the optimum ambient temperature that a skink needs. Reptile heat pads are inexpensive to purchase and are very energy efficient. Remember, depending on where you live and where in your house you keep the skink, you may need to add more heat. I keep my skink downstairs in my house, so I found I needed to increase the temperature in the enclosure to meet the skink's needs. To accomplish this, I added a ceramic heat emitter. A ceramic heat emitter is a fantastic heat source. I have observed that a standard light-emitting reptile heat bulb has a lifespan of approximately 1 to 2 years before its filaments burn out. However, for the past 7 years, I have had a ceramic heat emitter running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, within my bearded dragons enclosure, and have never changed it. Ceramic heat emitters are also more energy efficient than standard reptile heat bulbs. I would recommend starting your enclosure with only a heat pad and then carefully observe and measure the temperature to find out what needs to be tweaked to keep your skink healthy and happy. Lighting requirements for a skink is an easy part of the vivarium setup. You will need a UVB 5.0 fluorescent bulb. I can't stress enough that you need the right UVB bulb. It needs to be rated UVB 5.0, not 10.0. The 5.0 rated bulbs are rated for jungle animals, and they provide the optimal amount of UVB for tropical lizards, whereas UVB 10.0 bulbs are used for desert species. The other lights I have are plant LED lights from Josh's Frogs. These lights will provide the perfect light levels for plants and are cheap to run. I recommend keeping a spare of each type of light bulb so that if one fails, you can replace it immediately and not disturb the skink's daily routine. Be sure to connect the lights to an automatic timer that will shut the lights on and off. These lizards are crepuscular. This means that croc skinks are active at dawn and dusk. Because of this, I have my skink on a 14-hour day cycle instead of a 12-hour day cycle like my other lizards. This gives him more time to hunt and swim during the simulated evening and morning hours. Crocodile skinks are insectivores, meaning they eat a diet that consists purely of insects. The main food item for these lizards should consist of crickets and mealworms. If you live in the United States, cockroaches are another great reptile food option. However, these bugs are prohibited in Canada, so I only feed my skink mealworms and crickets. All insects must be dusted with a calcium multivitamin supplement prior to feeding. I prefer to feed mealworms over crickets. This is because mealworms are fed in bowls, rather than being allowed to free roam, like crickets. This allows me to record what the skink is eating. You can't easily tell if crickets have been eaten, as they often can be hiding. When working with rare lizards, keeping tabs on their eating habits is very important, as changes in a croc skink's behavioral pattern can be an early sign of health problems. However, hunting free-roaming insects is an important activity that helps to give your skink exercise. So I would recommend feeding a balanced mixture of bowl-residing mealworms and free-roaming crickets. As for red-eyed crocodile skink health issues, I have only one piece of advice. Follow the enclosure setup instructions to a T, and feed the lizard healthy and gut-loaded food. Although there are a few lizard vets, if a lizard gets sick, there is not a lot that can be done to save it, particularly one as rare as a croc skink. There is simply not a lot known about reptile medication. As a result, the best medicine is prevention through the quality care and observation of your skink. This guide has given you all the knowledge necessary to care for a red-eyed crocodile skink. This is an interesting and neat critter, a perfect and low-maintenance addition to your lizard collection. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy your croc skink as much as I have enjoyed mine. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And stay tuned for my next video, in which I will overview the care of my favorite lizard, the awesome Indonesian frilled dragon.
Find your time, I'll edit it.
Or my personal favorite lizard, the exotic and mysterious Indonesian frilled dragon. No. Okay, let's try that again.
Go ahead, keep going, I'll just edit it.
I'll try and get him to frill.
Show him Newman.
Not a bad idea, actually. I need two hands. Don't worry about it, don't worry about it.
And go about it, the exotic and mysterious.
Because you're in the camera shot.
No, I'm not in the shot at all.
Or my personal favorite lizard, the exotic and mysterious Indonesian frilled dragon. That's awesome. Oh shit, I wrecked it.
What's that?
Oh, I said that's awesome.
That's totally cool.